You are watching the Let's Talk Variety Show. I am your host, Andy Asher, and we are in store for a great week. On top of that, we wrapped up an amazing week devoted to action heroes with a tribute to all those box office megastars who have given action hero a new meaning. Still going strong after 55 and up, and there are a lot of names that we can put in there, none larger than 75-year-old Arnold Scwarzenegger.
I sold myself on that stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Scwarzenegger!
Thousands of people screaming.
Yes, indeed, an action hero for decades and still not done with a new series that you can watch on Netflix. Others, too, like Harrison Ford and Samuel L. Jackson.
Why do you think I came back?
And women like Sigourney Weaver and Michelle Pfeiffer, and all box office dynasties all over 55.
I remember having lunch with Jim. He started to talk about this kind of forest girl who had a special gift of connection with living things. And she's going to be about 14. And you and I know how immature you are. So I think you can handle this. I said, thank you.
When you see Sigourney play a character a quarter of her actual age flawlessly, she steeped herself in the ways of teen girls.
Hi, Mom.
But unconsciously, she just became younger. It was crazy to observe.
Why can't I just be like everyone else?
After 55, us mortals are looked at as being too old, too weak. Somehow, these larger-than-life character actors are immune from it all, from aging. Go and get them, folks. And it was a fun week, and I'm still trying to understand how ageism feels non-existent for action heroes, but for ordinary people like us, well, that's a whole nother matter. Meantime, there is a lot more going on this week, and you wouldn't believe where it all begins.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yes, indeed, it is Joe Rogan, possibly the biggest name, highest paid webcaster. He comes from a rough background in the brawling, ultimate fighting championships, and he is known for taking on some controversial topics, this time seemingly out of character for this tough guy from the world of cage fighting. Despite it all, he has made loneliness a focus of national attention.
There's psychological needs that are just as valuable and important as physical needs. Like, we know we have needs for nutrients, we know we have needs for water. We have needs psychological for all sorts of different things. Our communities are incredibly important. Love is incredibly important. Family is incredibly important.
The U.S. Surgeon General, no less, issued an advisory on the dangers of loneliness, calling it a health risk, as serious as a daily smoking habit.
Research shows that loneliness and isolation are associated with a greater risk of heart disease, dementia, stroke, depression, anxiety, and premature death.
That sober warning sparked a global discussion on social isolation. And here at the Let's Talk Variety Show, we have been addressing the loneliness crisis with plans to spark real connections, more urgent than ever. And this week, I will be joining others for a meeting with the CEO of Meetup.com, and we are working at making community building easier and forge lasting friendships. Let's jump into the kitchen now, and one person who is busy there is Mimi in the kitchen.
Hello, hello. Today we're gonna make some gazpacho. We went to the farmer's market and we got all those beautiful vegetables and fruit. So we have cucumbers, watermelon, tomatoes, peppers, red peppers, jalapeno, garlic, and green onions. So we're gonna make a nice, oh, of course, don't forget the basil. Basil is so important. So we're gonna just put this in the Vitamix, and okay, if I can do this. I can do it here. 1 second. Just put them here and then I will. Oh, all those flavors and smells so good. The basil and the watermelon. All right. So you put the watermelon. So 3 cups of diced watermelon, 3 tomatoes diced, but you keep some for later for garnish. 1 English cucumber, 2 cloves of garlic, fresh garlic, 1 jalapeno, and half of red bell pepper, right? Ooh, that's a lot, but we're gonna try to make it happen. 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar and 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and of course the half cup of diced green pepper. Let's see if it works, right? It's full. So let's do this. We'll start in low. So you stop and you salt. You put a pinch of salt like this. Ground fresh pepper. Okay. You stir. You taste. It's good. And you do it again until smooth. You can always add some salt. Et voila. All right. So you do this. You pour in a bowl or mason jar. I like to put it in a mason jar. Oh, smells so good. You add all the vegetables that you diced earlier, and you add them in there. I'm gonna show you how it looks. All right. Some basil, more olive oil. Sorry, gonna go grab some. Just a drizzle, like that. Woo! And voila! So in order to eat this beautiful, beautiful gazpacho, you have to put it in the fridge for at least half an hour or so, and then enjoy it cold. Can you see it? Isn't that beautiful? Voila! I'll see you next time with another recipe.
The Let's Talk Variety show is about variety. Last week, I met a guy who retired and picked up the hobby of beekeeping, which, by the way, sounds way too perilous for me.
Bees stings you. They have a barb on their stinger, a hook, and which doesn't come out, and it's attached to their stomach, and their stomach pulls out. They're true kamikazes. They die immediately.
Oh.
They only sting once, but when they sting you, they're dead.
That is Thomas Steed, who retired in 2003 and found a passion in beekeeping and helping others by advocating for the rights of their fellow retirees. Now, as the hobby, he manages 1.5 million bees in over a dozen hives, selling the honey produced at local farms under Steed's Bees.
First time I was ever swarmed, I ended up, and it was my fault, the reason I got swarmed, I wasn't, fully protected. I didn't have a veil on and gloves, and they were just protecting the hive. They were doing what they're supposed to do,
So when you got swarmed, you got stung?
Oh, I probably got stung 50, 75 times. I ended up in the emergency room, starting to go into anaphylactic shock. And
you still persevered.
Oh yeah,
no, you didn't let that stop you.
Andy, what happened was, my wife said, "You look bad. You got to go to the emergency room." I said, "Nah." My oldest daughter came home. "Dad, you look bad. We got to go to the emergency room." I said, "No." My youngest daughter, Carrie, said, "Get in the car right now." She took me to the emergency room, but she is a medical professional. She's a pathologist, so you can't argue, with medicine. About 35% of our diet wouldn't be on the menu if it wasn't for the pollinators. Einstein stated that when the honeybees go extinct, mankind has 3 years. That's what Einstein stated,
Yeah.
I hope that never comes to be.
Yeah. Well, I see in your publicity materials here, you have 1.5 million bees. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, that will be at the height of the population in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, July. That's when, the queen starts laying, actually, when it's still cold in February. And she can, a fertile queen can lay 2,000 eggs a day. Right? And, there's an incubation time, 28 days, stuff like that. But when they all emerge in July, each hive has 50 to 60,000 bees. And the way you can tell your population of bees is the weight of the box. And so July we'll have, say, 50, 60,000 bees per hive. I have 25 hives, so it's 1.25 to 1.5 million. This summer I've only been stung. This spring, I got to include spring when I go capture swarms and stuff like that. This summer I've only been stung about half a dozen times. That's nothing.
And what are the most?
Oh, when I got swarmed and I went to the emergency room, that was just one incident, but that was 12 years ago. That never happened again.
And how many stings was that?
Excuse me?
How many stings was that?
Oh, that was at least 50 to 75. Yeah, I was pretty beat up, but it was my fault. It wasn't the honeybees' fault. They were defending their queen, their colony. They were doing what they're supposed to do against invaders like me.
And that didn't dissuade you from being a beekeeper?
Oh no. It made me smarter. It made me more cautious, extremely cautious, Join a beekeepers club. It's a wealth of knowledge, usually about a 2-hour lecture, and you can ask questions. And you know what? If they see you're struggling, and they'll come and help you. We'll come over and examine your setup and give you on-site advice on how to promote it.
Again, that is Tom Steed, our focus on retirement for this week. And finally today, our newsstand segment, we are once again reminded of the affection that we felt for Tina Turner. She had such an amazing life story, and her singing would just run through your body. Weeks after she's been gone, magazine covers of her abound everywhere. Thankful for the reminder. Meantime, I want to thank you for supporting the show. If you liked it or you learned something new, I want to tell you 3 ways that you can support the show and keep the Let's Talk Variety Show going. And number 1, just get yourself subscribed. Now, every show, I am bringing inspirational guests who can teach or have something interesting to share. So just take a moment to hit that subscribe button. And number 2, this is really the ultimate way to support the Let's Talk Variety Show, and it really just takes less than a minute to do so. You can write something short and sweet like, "I love this show. It has changed your life," or something maybe you learned from it. I'm not exaggerating at all that I read reviews every day, and every single one, whether it is short or long, it means everything to me. And the more reviews means the higher we rank on all those algorithms, which means bigger guests. So just take a moment to leave a review. And 3, share the show with your friends. Just hit that share button. We live stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I am eternally grateful. Thank you so much for supporting the Let's Talk Variety Show. It's all about productivity, positivity, happiness, and inspiration.